I wanted something that stands out in a crowd. Something that not everyone else has. With me being younger without any gray, it's kind of weird to see me pull up in a Model A Ford. It gets a lot of off-the-wall comments. A lot of guys are like, what the heck is that? It's a hodgepodge of a Model A Ford that makes too much power for its own good, and it's just a fun hoot to drive. I am Colton Bass, I am 23, and this is my Model A two-door. It's kind of got a wild story. It's a mix of a few cars. Mainly, it is a Model A that we drug out of the weeds. It sat out on my family's farm for 45 to 50 years, and we knew that this body and this VIN was the one that we needed to build off. The car was built with a 50s style. The transmission is still something that would have been around in the 50s or the early 60s. The motor, something that would have been around in the early 60s. There isn't very many off-the-shelf parts in the car. Almost everything is handmade the way that they would have back then. The wishbone bars, we hand-turned all the bungs that fit into there. The axle was hand-built on a jig. The body was chopped by us. It's got a 12-inch Z in the rear, and then it's swept in the front with like a 5-inch Z. I love more of what this car was back when. I wanted something old school that still has the rattles and creaks. You gotta be on your toes whenever you're driving it. But that's one of the parts that I love. One fateful night, there was a tornado that came directly down our driveway where the car was being built in, and it picked the garage up, spun it, and laid it right on top of the car and flattened the body out. The doors were beyond crushed. They were pretty much worth their weight in scrap value at that point. We probably would have had the car done in about 3.5 years, but it took close to 6 because it was a lot of body work to fix. The reason why I really didn't give up on the car, I'm more persistent than I probably should be. When I was set on this car, I was set on this car and I wasn't gonna give up on it. My dad, when I was younger, he had a Camaro, a modified, all sorts of anything toys that a young man in his 20s would have. When I was 15, my dad passed away. My dad taught me how to work on stuff. He taught me how just to not be scared to try anything. My uncle, my dad's twin brother, we both were going through a really, really hard time in our lives. We didn't really know what to do, so we wanted to build something positive out of something negative, so we just found something to bond over. The car is the one last piece that I have left of my dad, I'd like to say. Actually, the bottom end of the motor that's in this car is original to my dad's modified, so it has a little piece of him in there too. You can almost feel his soul whenever you hop in it and take it for a drive. When I drive this car, I feel free. It's just you, the road, and the car.